Hello students, let's move on to next topic, bond fission or cleavage of bond. On your screen you can see three reactions are shown. Now we have to examine in more detail what happens when molecules containing covalent bonds undergo chemical reaction. One reaction is here and consider it the three possible ways. The mechanism of the reaction depends on the way in which these bonds are broken. So the three possible ways are, in the first reaction you can see that when X and Y, which is connected with a covalent bond, is breaking, if Y is more electronegative, it will take the two electrons, acquire the minor negative charge, and X will become positive. This is the one way. Second way, if X is more electronegative, it will drain out the two electrons, acquire the negative charge, and Y will become positive. Third condition, if both the atoms are having same electronegativity, then both the atoms will take one electron and they will cleave. So three possible ways are shown here. According to their fission only, we are going to just keep them in two different segments, heterolytic cleavage and homolytic cleavage. Let's see what is homolytic fission. In homolytic fission, or this is also called symmetrical fission, as the word says, symmetrical fission means in the fission there is a symmetry. So in this cleavage, the bond breaks in such a fashion that each atom takes away one electron of the shared pair. A and B having one electron, which was used in making the covalent bond, when they are breaking, when homolytic fission is occurring, one element is taking one electron, other atom is taking one electron. Thus, movement of single electron takes place instead of an electron pair. Okay, so each atom has one electron of shared electron pair. Therefore, in homolytic fission, neutral species are formed, and these species are called free radicals. This is A free radical, this is B free radical. And this reaction, normally this fission occurs when we do the reaction in heat or light. So homolytic fission occurs in non-polar bonds. This we have to remember, that homolytic fission occurs in non-polar bonds. Means the electronegativity of both the elements will be same. And it is favored by heat, or you can say ultraviolet radiations, and in the presence of peroxides. So what will happen? Take the see this chlorine molecule in UV light, 523 degree in 523 Kelvin, it is breaking and it is giving two free radicals. We can write simply Cl dot and Cl dot. So in this way, the neutral species formed are called chlorine free radical. And if I will take other example, two methyl groups, CH3 CH3, CH3 dot plus CH3 dot. Here we can say that two methyl free radicals are formed. And this is shown by a single head arrow. Means a curved arrow will be there and single head, only one we will draw. By this we show the cleavage. So this is homolytic fission. Now let's see what is heterolytic fission. In heterolytic fission, it is also called unsymmetrical fission. In this fission, cations and anions are formed. Okay, cations and anions are formed. The bond breaks in such a fashion, the bond which is present here breaks in such a way that the shared electron pair remains with one of the atom which is more electronegative atom. Now this AB, suppose this AB, A bond B is going through heterolytic fission. Cation and anion is being formed. B has taken both the electrons and acquired the negative charge. Why? Because we can say that B is more electronegative than A. And reverse also can happen. If A will be more negative, then A will take both the electrons, acquire the negative charge. Here two electrons will not be here. It is wrong. And B positive will be formed. So when heterolytic fission is occurring, covalent bond is breaking. It depends upon the electronegativity. Whichever is more electronegative will acquire the negative charge and will gain both the electrons of the shared pair. So the atom which gains the shared electron pair acquires negative charge. The arrow points towards this atom. The atom which loses the shared pair acquires the positive charge. So what are the characteristics of heterolytic and homolytic fission? Noted down. Heterolytic fission takes place in polar covalent bonds and is favored by polar solvents such as water and alcohol. But homolytic fission takes place in non-polar covalent bonds and is most common in vapor phase. Point number 2. Cations and anions are formed in heterolytic fission. In heterolytic fissions only the cation and anions are formed. Whereas in homolytic fission, free radicals, or you can say neutral species, are formed. Now let's see what are reaction intermediates. These are also termed as reactive intermediates. These are short-lived and highly reactive fragments which results from homolytic and heterolytic bond fission. So the important reaction intermediates are free radicals, carbocations, carbanions, carbenes, nitrines, and benzene. First, we will discuss what is free radicals. A free radical may be defined as an atom or group of atom having an odd or unpaired electron. As you have seen in homolytic fission, one electron one atom was taking and the bond was broken. So it will have odd or unpaired electron. These result on account of homolytic fission of a covalent bond and are denoted by putting a dot against the symbol of atom or group of atom. Just see this. If I write Cl dot, this you will call chlorine free radical. Hydrogen dot, this is hydrogen free radical. If group of atom is there, CH3 dot. This is methyl free radical, and if I write it H3 carbon CH2, CH3 CH2 dot. This is ethyl free radical. Characteristics of free radicals are generally electrically neutral, means they are not bearing any charge. They are having electron but they are not bearing charge, so they are electrically neutral. Number 2, they are highly unstable. Reaction intermediate only means that these are formed during the course of reaction. They are not the product, so they are highly unstable, means they are highly reactive. They are short-lived and highly reactive on account of the presence of odd electrons. So they just readily try to pair up the odd electrons, so they are highly reactive. Free radicals are paramagnetic in nature because of the presence of odd electron. This you will study in one chapter. Unpaired electrons are shown by paramagnetic substances, and when the electrons are found in paired, they will be diamagnetic. Free radicals are generally formed either in presence of UV visible light or in the presence of peroxides. When we will classify the free radicals, we will find that free radicals are of three types: primary free radicals, secondary free radicals, and tertiary free radicals. Which are primary, which are secondary, which are tertiary? If you remember, I have told you about the primary, secondary, tertiary, quaternary carbon. When any carbon is attached to only one carbon, or if it is not attached to any carbon, if only CH4 is there, only one carbon, it is not attached to any carbon, it is primary carbon. So if carbon is not attached to any carbon, or if it is attached to only one carbon, that carbon will be your primary carbon. If carbon is attached to two carbons, this will be your secondary carbon. If carbon is attached to 3 carbon, this will be your tertiary carbon. And if carbon is attached to 4 carbons, this will be your quaternary carbon. So by knowing the primary, secondary, tertiary carbon, we can now say free radicals. Now see here, I have taken the picture of primary, secondary, and tertiary free radical. This is methyl radical, CH3 dot, CH3 CH2 ethyl, meth eth propyl, meth eth prop. This is 1 2 3 4 carbon, and you can see that it is tertiary free radical because this carbon is attached with 3 other carbon. This carbon is attached with 2 carbon. This carbon is attached with 1 carbon, and this, so this is primary free radical, primary free radical, secondary free radical, and tertiary free radical. When we will study about the stability, which one is more reactive, which one is least reactive. After discussing the characteristics of free radicals, classification of free radicals, let's see the stability of free radicals. Here on your screen you can see that one methyl free radical, primary free radical, secondary free radical, and tertiary free radicals are mentioned. So free radicals are more stable if they are highly substituted. Here you can see 3 hydrogen are present. It can be substituted, so it is more reactive. 2 hydrogen can be substituted, lesser than methyl. Only 1 hydrogen can be substituted, lesser than primary one. Tertiary, no substitution can be done, so it is the most stable free radical. As I have said that free radicals won't wear any charge. So why they are unstable? They are unstable because of an incomplete octet. Their octet is not complete. To complete their octet, they are reactive. And groups that can push electrons or donate electron towards the free radical will help to stabilize, and this can be understood by the hyperconjugation. So stability, if you have to, reactivity, if I have to say this is more reactive than this will be the reactivity, and for stability we have to reverse it. So this was all about free radicals. Let's see carbonium ion. Carbocations, chemical species having a carbon atom containing 6 electrons in its valence shell and bearing positive charge is called a carbocation. Earlier these were called as carbonium ions. First see the structure of carbon. Carbon is possess tetravalency. Atomic number of carbon is 6. 2 electrons. When we will do the configuration of carbon, 2 and 4. In the L shell, 4 electrons are there. So carbon is tetravalent. But what I am saying about the carbocation, the valence shell will contain 6 electrons and a positive charge. This will be known as carbocation, and it is formed by the heterolytic cleavage of a polar covalent bond. This we have to remember. Carbocations are formed by the heterolytic cleavage of a polar covalent bond. The shared, what is happening in this? The shared pair of electron goes to more electronegative elements. See one example. CH3. Let's take methyl bromide. CH3 Br. Okay. Now this covalent bond is breaking as bromine is more electronegative. Bromine will bromide, it will become bromide ion, and methyl, this will have positive. Okay, so the positive we are discussing, this is a carbocation. This CH3 plus charge, we can call it methyl carbocation, and these names are derived from the alkyl group. CH3 plus is a methyl carbocation. If I will write C2H5 plus, this will be a ethyl carbocation. If I will write CH3, CH2, CH2 plus, this is a normal propyl carbocation. This will proceed on. Now let's see the classification of carbocations. They are also classified as primary, secondary, and tertiary carbocations according to the positive charge present on the primary, secondary, or tertiary carbon atom, respectively. When the positive charge is present on the primary carbon, that will be a primary carbocation. If positive charge is present on the secondary carbon, that will be a secondary carbocation. If positive charge is present on the tertiary carbon, that will be a tertiary carbocation. If we will talk about the stability of the carbocations, so we can say that any factor which will decrease the positive charge of carbocation will increase its stability. Okay, so means any factor which will decrease the positive charge of carbocations will increase its stability. And this depends upon the inductive effect and hyperconjugation. So, and for stability means whatever factors are decreasing the positive charge, they are increasing the stability. And when we will talk about the reactivity of carbocations are bearing positive charge means they are electron deficient and are highly reactive. They combine with anions and electron pair donor species to complete their octet. Their reactivity is reverse to that of the order of their stability. Means whichever carbocation is more stable will be least reactive, and which is most reactive, that will be least stable. So reactivity of carbocations decreases in, you can see here, this is tertiary carbocation, primary, secondary, and tertiary. Three carbocations are shown here, and stability is decreasing in this manner. So if I will say reactivity, so this will increase in this manner. Primary will less reactive, secondary will more reactive, tertiary will most reactive. And for structure, orbital structure of all the carbon and its compound, I will when I will start molecular structure and chemical bonding, then it will be clear. Otherwise I will use the terms hybridization, p shell shape, s orbital shape, SPDF nomenclature, as I have not taught till now to you all, so it will become little difficult to understand. So just leave that portion. I am not skipping the portion. I am leaving for some time. When I will deal with chemical bonding and structure of compounds, there when I will explain, I will definitely explain these structures also. So don't worry about it. I will explain all the aspects which is given in your book. So this is your carbocations. Let's move on to carbanions. Carbanions, chemical species having a carbon atom containing 8 electrons in its valence shell and bearing negative charge is called carbanion. Carbonium positive, carbanion negative, free radical without any charge. So for carbonium, carbanion, see here, in this you can see 2, 4, 6, and this 2 lone pair of electrons. The electrons which it is taking and detaching. So 8 electrons on carbon, 6 bonding. Carbon 1 electron is bonded with hydrogen, other is with hydrogen, third is also with hydrogen, CH3, and this 2 electrons and a negative charge. This is carbanion. Okay, understood? So we can say chemical species having a carbon atom containing 8 electrons in its valence shell and bearing a negative charge is called carbanion. If we have to classify this carbanion, we can say that they can be classified as primary carbanion, secondary carbanion, and tertiary carbanions according to the negative charge present on primary, secondary, and tertiary carbon atom respectively. If you will be able to draw primary, secondary, tertiary carbon, then just put the negative charge on the primary, secondary, and tertiary carbon. That will be your example. So you can draw methyl, ethyl, isopropyl, and tertiary butyl carbanion. If we will talk about the stability of carbanions, the order of stability of carbanions is reverse to that of carbocations and free radicals. Stability of carbanions decreases in the order primary, secondary, then tertiary. Alkyl groups and other electron donating groups slightly destabilize a carbanion. Order of stability is usually the opposite of that of carbocation and free radicals. Reactivity, that will be opposite of the stability. The reaction intermediates are short-lived and they are very reactive. This sentence is for all the three free radicals, carbonium and carbanions. Carbanions combined with cations or electron pair acceptors, and their reactivity is reverse of their stability. So for the reactivity of carbanions decreases in the order tertiary, then secondary, then primary. Orbital structure diagram. Again, I am telling you that when I will discuss the molecular bonding, I will take the structure of carbonium, carbanion, and carbon also. Okay, so characteristics of carbanions. The carbon atom bearing negative charge has 8 electrons in its valence shell and it is a nucleophile. Our next topic is electrophile and nucleophile. There you will understand what is nucleophile and what is electrophile. The carbon atom bearing negative charge is sp3 hybridized and has, again this also will be pyramidal structure. You will understand by understanding the molecular structure only. So presence of electron releasing groups, that is plus I effect, such as alkyl groups, decreases the stability of carbanion. Okay, if electron releasing groups, the groups which comes under positive inductive effect, if they will attach to it, such as alkyl groups, they will decrease the stability of carbanion. And presence of electron attracting groups, that is negative inductive effect, such as NO2, cyano group, aldehydic or carboxylic acid group, when these will attach to the carbanion, they will increase the stability of carbanion. So this was all about carbanions. Next is electrophile and nucleophile. I think that I will make you understand in my next lecture. So till now, thank you children.